All right, welcome back to yesterday's Crimes versus the Stats. I'm Martin. Look, we all know the big names, the legends, and we've watched the films, read the books, and all that, but honestly, a lot of the time, the real story of how these guys actually built their empires gets totally lost under all that Hollywood glitz. Today, we aren't just looking at the numbers, we are ripping apart the myths. We're going to do a proper, no nonsense look at two of the biggest crime bosses of the 1920s. Al Capone, the Scarface of Chicago for the USA, and the real life bloke who actually ran the Peaky Blinders era, Billy Kimber. We are going to look at exactly how they did it, split across six main areas. The money machine, how they made their cash. What made them tick? Their actual brains and personalities. Spies and secrets. How did they stay ahead of the law for so long? Guns and moving stuff. The gear and the transport. How it all fell apart. The end of the road. And then my final score. Who was actually the better boss in my opinion? To help me make sense of all these facts and figures, I've got my AI partner and head numbers guy Marcus with me as always. Marcus, shuffle the deck, let's follow the money.
Let's perform a forensic analysis of the financial models. Al Capone's Chicago outfit was fundamentally a monopoly on high-volume vertical integration. Capone didn't just sell alcohol, he controlled the entire supply chain. His revenue model estimated at £1.1 billion annually. In today's money was structured across three distinct pillars. First, prohibition. Capone owned thousands of clandestine breweries and imported massive ocean shipments from Canada. He then utilized his logistics to supply all of Chicago's estimated 10,000 speakeasies. He was unto a retailer, he was the primary wholesaler, effectively taxing all alcohol consumption. Second, the vice tax. Capone consolidated 85% of Chicago's gambling dens and organized prostitution, treating these high-cash ventures as mandatory revenue share partnerships. Third, union racketeering. His most sophisticated engine. Capone placed outfit loyalists inside labor unions, siphoning wages from thousands of workers in the construction and transportation industries. Visual action. The visual shifts focus to the blue Kimber side of the scorecard card. Billy Kimber's Birmingham Boys syndicate operated on a horizontal, geographic monopoly model. He didn't sell a product. He sold protection of territory. Kimber's primary revenue stream worth roughly £32 million annually today was generated through the strategic, violent dominance of UK racecourses. Post-World War I Britain saw an explosion in regulated betting. Thousands of bookmakers were operating in a highly lucrative, decentralized cash market. Kimber realized that these bookmakers, carrying massive, unaccounted cash bags, required security. He systematically executed vile and territory sweeps at Epsom and Royal Ascot to force bookmakers nationwide to pay him a mandatory protection fee. If you didn't pay Kimber, you didn't bet. Where Capone controlled the product, Kimber controlled access. Capone's profit model was built on high-volume sales. Kimber's was built on low-volume, maximum control taxation. Capone takes the round for industrial scale and revenue complexity. Round 2. The biographies and resumes. To understand their minds, we must look to where they were forged, exposing the ultimate historical twist. Alphonse Gabriel Capone was born on January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York, to struggling Italian immigrants. Raised in intense urban poverty, he dropped out of school at age 14 after attacking a teacher. Entering the street camps, he became an apprentice to Johnny Torrio in the notorious 5 Points game. Torrio taught him that violence was merely a business tool. During this time, Capone's face was slashed 3 times with a razor after he insulted a woman at a bar, leaving him with the lifelong scars of Scarface. When Torrio moved to Chicago, Capone followed. When Torrio retired after an inner assassination in 1925, Capone inherited the entire empire at just 26 years old. The UK side of this bracket belongs to William E. Billy Kimber. Born on January 8, 1882, in Aston, Birmingham. And this is where the history books diverge from television. Tommy Shelby and his family are completely fictional. The real Peaky Blinders were not a sophisticated 1920s empire. They were a loose, disorganized collection of violent 1890s street kids known for petty theft and back-alley brawling. By the 1910s, they had completely faded away. Why? Because of Billy Kimber. Forged in the brutal heat of Birmingham's brass factories, Kimber organized his own syndicate, the Birmingham Boys. He physically beat, ran off, and absorbed the remnants of the actual Peaky Blinders, taking absolute control of the city. Under Kimber's genius, these former street thugs were upgraded into a highly organized, multi-city racecourse protection racket. Kimber was the true kingpin of England. For crushing his rivals and rewriting history, Team Kimber takes the round with a resumed score of 95 over Capone's 92. Round 3. Intelligence and tough wars. B.E. Kimber's intelligence lay in brilliant local diplomacy. He strategically united regional gangs from Leeds and the Midlands, forming a massive, unified front to crush the southern bookmakers at the 1921 Epsom Derby. This allowed him to systematically monopolize racetrack protection across the country. Al Capone operated on a military scale. To eliminate his rivals on the north side, Capone designed the 1929 St. Valentine's Day Massacre. His operatives dressed in fake police uniforms, staged a mock raid, disarmed the rival gang, and executed 7 of them against a brick wall. Capone revolutionized counterintelligence in modern warfare. Team Capone takes the round. 90-85, Round 4. Muscle and firepower. Kimber's Birmingham Boys fought in the shadows of the Victorian era. Their arsenal consisted of heavy iron koshers, clubs, Webby revolvers, and their iconic signature weapon, disposable cutthroat tracers stitched directly into the peaks of their flat caps to blow rivals in close-quarter brawls. The Chicago outfit utilized military-grade hardware. Capone soldiers popularized the .45 Thompson submachine gun. Firing 1,500 rounds per minute, Capone himself traveled in a customized 3.5-ton Omid Cadillac featuring bulletproof steel plating, bulletproof glass, run-flat tires, a built-in police band radio, and a modified drop-down rear window designed for high-speed machine gun fire. Capone takes a perfect .98 for firepower. Round 5. The downfall. Despite his immense power, Al Capone suffered the ultimate getaway fail because he kept no bank accounts and never filed a single tax return. The federal government bypassed his violent crimes entirely. In 1931, he was convicted of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in prison, including a brutal term at Alcatraz where his mind was permanently destroyed by untreated neurosyphilis. Kimber played a perfect endgame. In the TV show, Tommy Shelby shoots Kimber in the head. In reality, Kimber survived his wars, avoided a violent street death, and briefly fled to America. After losing the brutal territory dispute to Darby Sabini's London syndicate, he adapted, returned to England, went completely illegitimate, built a massive legal bookmaking business, and died peacefully in a Torquay nursing home in 1945 at the age of 63. For surviving the game, going legit, and outliving his rivals, Kimber wins the downfall round. The final verdict. B. Kimber and the real-life Birmingham Boys are Negrity, legendary score of 85. Out of 100 for their territorial dominance and flawless survival strategy. But Al Capone's industrial-scale billion-pound bootlegging revenue, military-grade firepower, and corporate syndicate planning secure the Chicago outfit an historic score of 93 out of 100, making Al Capone the winner.
Wow, what a proper shift that was. Crazy to see how these two actually ran things. The numbers don't lie, do they? Al Capone was an absolute machine when it came to cash and power. But Billy Kimber, dude, that man, he might have actually played the smarter hand in the end. But now, we want to know what you lot think. We've binned the myths and looked at actual facts, but where do you stand on it? Get down in the comments right now and tell us. Did we get history right? Did Marcus score the real Birmingham Boys too low on street grit? Or was Capone just on another level? You know the drill. Smash the subscribe button to join the channel. Hit the like button and leave a comment telling us which two historical bosses or gangs you want us to match up next. Until next time, I've been Martin. Thank you for watching.